I'm going to make a short video on my thoughts of Apple's keynote, more specifically the iPad, Apple's new portable tablet. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the hate geared towards the device. Some of the hate is valid and some of it is not. For example, in the start of the video, as you may have noted, I called it a portable, and that's because you can't compare it to a netbook. It is quote unquote a portable, not a netbook, not a tablet computer, and you just can't compare it to a netbook or a tablet computer. It's just not in their league. As many people have mentioned, it's more comparable to the Amazon Kindle, which is true in a sense. Now that that is out of the way, let's start with the specs. It's roughly 9.56 inches in height and 7.47 inches wide, and just a half an inch thin, which is pretty amazing. The Wi-Fi only version weighs just 1.5 pounds, and the Wi-Fi plus 3G model weighs 1.6 pounds. It runs a custom 1 GHz ARM-based processor made by Apple called the A4, and the screen resolution is 1024 by 768, which of course is the netbook resolution. Currently in the first gen, there are capacities of 16 GB, 32 GB, and 64 GB, of course all flash memory. It has an accelerometer and an ambient light sensor, as we've come to expect. It of course runs a modified OS X version like the iPhone and iPod Touch. The Wi-Fi versions all come with 802.11 Wi-Fi, which is very nice, and Bluetooth 2.1. The Wi-Fi plus 3G model comes with, of course, 3G, which is UMTS and HSDPA 3G, and GSM and Edge 2G, plus Wi-Fi, etc. Both the units also support output to a TV up to 720p, I believe, via the dock connected to VGA. Both units support the usual in terms of images and document types that it can read, such as JPEG, TIFF, GIF, .doc files, of course, for Microsoft Word, .docx, .hdm, .html, .key for keynote files, .pages for pages file, etc., etc. Now on to what I like about the iPad. First, that the screen resolution is larger, of course, and therefore you can fit more icons for applications on the home screen. I also love the fact that you can connect an official Apple keyboard to it and use it to type. That is really amazing. I also love the fact that we will now be able to enjoy apps on a 9-inch screen, and I also love the fact that some of the apps come with the iPad, or the ones that come with the iPad, are actually customized for it, which is a very nice touch. And the accessories for the iPad are really amazing. That's what really makes this. For some of you that didn't know, the actual case can actually act as a stand, so if you're on a flight or if you're on a bus or train and you have a tray, you can actually watch movies for up to 10 hours, which is really nice. And it's very, very light as well. So it turns into somewhat a portable dock. There is also the iPad dock, which props it up so you can use Apple's keyboard to type in any application. There is also an iPad camera connection kit, which used to be in the iPod Photo, and they've now brought it back, which is very nice to see. And it really does serve a purpose. Say your camera is full and you only have a 2 GB card and you want to offload it to your iPad and delete the photos and keep taking photos. If you wanted to, you could just dump them onto the iPad and delete all the photos that are currently on your camera and keep going from there if you're on vacation and you aren't near a computer, which is very nice. They also announced iWork for the tablet, which is excellent, which will allow you great productivity on the go. I'm not going to get too much into that because I'm not that excited about it. Now, if you haven't taken much notice, the processor is 1 GHz, which is very slow. However, Apple has an advantage as they are making the chip, or customizing the chipset rather, and they make the software, so they have a huge advantage here. So it should absolutely blitz a netbook in terms of speed and performance. If you've ever used a netbook, you know they're painfully slow and you can't really do much with them. However, you can't compare this to a netbook. Like I said earlier, this is a whole new category. The final thing I'll talk about is the price. As we all know, for Apple, $499 is a great price. I'm talking US dollars. That of course is for the Wi-Fi model, but you can pick the best model up with Wi-Fi and 3G and 64 gigs of space for $829 US. International pricing is yet to be announced.